Morning, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. Just after 7 o'clock here on the 30th of August. Seems like 2020 is rapidly on its way out, hopefully, with all the nonsense it came in with, right? So, chapter number 42 today in the book of Genesis. We start early Sunday mornings. If you're able to be with us, I'm excited about that. If you catch up later, I get that too. But chapter 42 today, I think we have 37 verses, something like that, 38 verses, and we will pray and commence directly. Father, we love you. Please bless our time of study this morning. Thank you for another Lord's Day. You're a good God to us. Help us to realize the gift of life that you've given to us, how valuable and precious it is. Amen. All right, chapter 42. Yesterday, we found that Joseph was promoted to the agricultural administrator of the land of Egypt. Actually, his position's a bit loftier than that. He pretty much was running the whole country. The Pharaoh gave him carte blanche, a blank check, in order to do whatever he needed to do. He gave him his authority. He gave him his ring, which is the authority of the king. Anything that he presses with that ring is sealed by the king. And so Joseph has gone from being in a pit thrown there by his brothers. They thought he was done. They even talked about killing him, if you recall. And now he's leading the entire nation of Egypt. Pretty incredible. At this point, Joseph is 37 years old. He was 17 when we first are introduced to him, and he's sent to see his brothers. Then they sell him into slavery. Then we know, let's see, he was in prison for 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to put him at 35 years as a slave for Potiphar, 7 years in prison, putting him at 30. And now the years of feast are over. So he's at least 37 years old. It's 20 years since his brothers threw him in that pit, to give you a little bit of a timeline. Chapter 42, verse 1. Now when Jacob saw that there was no corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. So Jacob's a little harsh with his boys here, right? But I'll tell you what a great lesson here. Verse 1 again, why do ye look one upon another? So their food reserves are dwindling. They're nearly out of food. And who knows, maybe they're even running out of money. We don't know that exactly for sure, but they're worrying about dying. That's how dire the situation is. And so he says, why do ye look one upon another? You know, sometimes we look for somebody else to bail us out of our problems. And the reality is, there's not anybody to bail us out of our problems. We're going to have to get out of our problems with the help of the Lord. And that's our first instinct usually. You know, who can help me? Who in my life? Who in my family? Who in my church family? Who at work? Can my boss help me? You know, who can get me out of this trouble? Well, the Lord can deliver you from your trouble. We need to go to Him first and foremost, and then before we even go leaning on others, let's try to bear our own burdens. Let's try to figure it out on our own. And that's what Jacob is telling his sons. Look, you guys, you don't have any money. You're all looking to each other. You're all broke equally. I'm broke. You're going to have to go down to Egypt, go somewhere where you can buy some corn. And so they head down to Egypt to buy corn. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren. For he said, lest peradventure mischief shall befall him. Jacob's pretty wise here, isn't he? Last time he sent Joseph down with his brothers, he didn't come back. And now Benjamin is the other son that he's had with Rachel, so a special place in his heart for him. He says, you're not going with these guys. They don't know what they're doing. They're always finding trouble. Verse 5, and the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. So, as we talked about yesterday with Pharaoh's dream, it's not just Egypt itself, but the whole region is dealing with this famine. Verse 6, and Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. This is a pretty incredible time, isn't it? Can you imagine being Joseph? You never dreamed that that would be the day, maybe, that you'd wake up, get dressed, go to work, and have your 10 brothers show back up. He's not seen them in 20 years. And so here he is. He recognizes them. They do not recognize him. And we're going to see in this chapter, Joseph has a little bit of fun with them. And he speaks roughly to them. I don't know, maybe he's enjoying this a bit much, hard to say, but he's in control now. These guys, and remember, the dream was his brothers would bow down to him. What's happening here? They're bowing down to him. God's promise to Joseph comes true. Verse 9, And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. Now let me deal with this verse in both sections. First, Joseph remembered the dreams that he dreamed unto them. So he remembers, hey, God said these guys would bow down to me, and look, they're doing it. You know what happens when we see God do something he promised he'd do? Our faith is strengthened. Our faith in God is strengthened. And here, Joseph is being reminded, hey, I remember God said this would happen, and look, it's happening. And then, of course, he accuses his brothers of being spies. You guys don't want corn. You're spies. You're here to see our weaknesses in Egypt. Verse 10, And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all one man's sons. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. So there's we're not spies. We need food. That's why we're here. The only reason we're here. Joseph says, No, I don't believe you. You're spies. Verse 13. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. And that's Joseph they're talking about, meaning one has died, one is not. So we're 12 brothers. Our youngest is still with dad at home, and one has died. Joseph said unto them, That is it that I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh, ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely ye are spies. And he put them all together into ward 3 days. And so this is where I say, I think Joseph's messing with their heads a little bit. He is giving them a little bit back of what they did to him. So what's he saying? You're spies. No, we're not. Really, we're the sons of an Israelite, Jacob. Our youngest is at home with him, and then one of us has died. And Joseph says, I don't believe you. Here's what I'm going to do to prove you're not spies. I'm going to lock you all up. I'm going to send one of you back home to get your youngest brother. If you come back with that youngest brother, then we'll know that you're not spies and you're telling the truth. But if he doesn't come back, then I'm going to know you're lying to me. And now he puts all 10 of them in jail for 3 days to hold them and to let them think, to inspire some fear in their hearts maybe. Verse 18. And Joseph said unto them the 3rd day. So he's changing things up a little bit from what he just told them. This do and live, for I fear God. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses. But bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so. So instead of sending one back and keeping the other 9 in prison, he says, okay, we're just going to keep one in prison, send 9 of you back. You better get your brother and bring him back to me so that I can verify your story. Verse, let's see, 21. And they said one to another, we are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. So these boys, well, these men, now they're saying, we're getting what we deserve. When Joseph pled with us for his life and his freedom, we ignored him. And God is getting back at us for what we did to our brother. These guys are having a come to Jesus moment here, aren't they? Their eyes are being awakened to what they did to Joseph all those years ago. Verse 22, and look here, Reuben, I told you so. Reuben answered them, saying, spake I not unto you, saying, do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear? Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And so Reuben's saying, I told you guys something bad was going to happen. I told you leave him alone. But no, you didn't listen to me. You had to sell him and profit off of him. Now his blood is going to be held accountable by us. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. So Joseph is speaking Hebrew and presumably Egyptian. I don't know, maybe Arabic. I'm not sure what language the Egyptians spoke back then, but he knows both languages. And up until now, he'd been using an interpreter. And he still remembers his Hebrew language skills. And so he understands everything that they're saying. And that there's something going on in him. Verse 24, and he turned himself about from them, and look here, and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. So Joseph's heart is broken. He's reunited with his brothers. They're showing some remorse for what they did for him, although not entirely. These guys are still very self-serving individuals, but he can't believe what's happening in his life, and he just loses it. He begins weeping over it. And he says, okay, we're going to do what I said. And he takes Simeon, and right in front of them, he binds him. I don't know if that means shackles, on his hands and feet, presumably. And so they bind him. Verse 25, then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. So now he's got Simeon locked up, but he takes the other 9 and he says to fill their sacks with corn, and then he gives them provisions, food to travel with, and then he puts the money back in the mouths of the sacks of corn. So if you open the sack of corn, you'd see it's full of corn and the money sitting on top. Verse number 26, and they laded their asses with the corn and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he espied his money. For behold, it was in his sack's mouth. So one of them goes to feed the donkey. He opens his sack to get some corn to feed the donkey, and he sees his money in the top of the sack. Verse 28, and he said unto his brethren, my money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, what is this that God hath done unto us? They're all panicking now. How is it that we have this corn and we didn't even pay for it? They're thinking that Joseph's going to think that they stole from him. And they believe that all of this is the judgment of God in their lives. Verse 29, and they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, the man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, we are true men, we are no spies. And we be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the lord of the country, said unto us, Hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother unto me. Then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So will I deliver you, your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. So, all those verses basically just reiterating to Jacob what happened. They're saying, okay, Dad, let us tell you what went on here. We went and saw the Lord of the land, the one in charge of distributing the money, and he spoke roughly to us, and he accused us of being spies. We told him, no, we're not spies. We're 12 brothers. Our youngest is back home with our father, and the other one is not. And he said, well, the only way I'm going to believe you're true men and not spies is to hold one of you back here. You're going to go home. You're going to get your brother. And then as we were traveling, we noticed our money had been replaced in our sacks. He may think that we stole the corn now and didn't pay for it. We don't know what to do. And look at Jacob, verse 36. And Jacob their father said unto them, Me have ye bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. So Jacob, his sons, he doesn't trust these guys. They're irresponsible. What does he say? Joseph is gone. Simeon's gone. Every time I send one of my sons with you, knuckleheads, you come back without him. You came back without Joseph. Now you've come back without Simeon. And you want me to let you take Benjamin too? You're going to come back without him. Verse 37, And Reuben spake unto his father. So here Reuben's stepping up again. Remember, he is the firstborn son. Slay my 2 sons, if I bring him not to thee. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to thee again. So Reuben says, look, Dad, I'll make you a deal. Let me take Benjamin down there to see this guy, and I will bring him back to you. If I don't, you can kill my 2 sons, which I don't know what kind of proposition that is. Those are Jacob's grandchildren. Do you think he really wants to kill his grandchildren? If anything, it's telling Jacob that Reuben is serious about delivering Benjamin back to him again. Verse 38, And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in the which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. And that's where we leave this chapter. A little bit of a cliffhanger, isn't it? He said, you know what? He's not going down there. You know, Joseph and Benjamin, they were the only 2 brothers from Rachel, and you came back without Joseph. I'm not letting you take Benjamin also. It's not happening. And there it is. That's where we leave it for the day. This story is going to continue over the next couple days. I'm excited to get into it. Something interesting we'll read about tomorrow concerning the story that the boys tell Jacob versus the truth. See, these guys are lying to him a bit. And there you have it. That's Genesis chapter 42. Thanks for watching this morning. Hey, we'll be live on our Facebook page here with our morning service at 10 o'clock, preaching on the purpose of a pastor. And then tonight, 5:45, we're preaching on steps of growth. Hope that you'll tune in with us and watch if you're not in the area. If you are in the area, come on out. Be a part, and we'd love to have you this morning. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Like, love, share the post, and I guess we'll be talking to you later today, twice, but we'll see you tomorrow morning back at 10 o'clock again.